I Am Batman issue 0 finds Tim Fox training in Japan, knowing that this is how it begins, with a lot of years of hard work and time figuring out who he is, but the truth is, he's nobody, at least not yet. Tatsu tells him that he's doing well in his training, knowing that she owed it to herself to make something out of him since she was almost killed saving his life in Markovia. Tim knows that he was actually saving Versailles' life, but the man knows that he was saving Tim's life and he hopes he'll make use of this life now. Tim says that he wants to be a symbol of resistance, but Versailles says that symbols are things, but revolutionaries are people, and his objective can't be what he is fighting against, it's what he's fighting for. Tatsu says that he has grown a lot over the years, but he still has a lot to learn, knowing that Katana could use an apprentice. Tim knows that Katana fights some very bad people, but he wants to fight the system, remembering Versailles saying that to become a guerrilla he needs to pick a nom de guerre, a war name, and he's got one in mind, and there is a story behind it, wanting them to start calling him Jace. In the present, Jace is asked by his mother if he is sure he wants to move out of the house. Jace says that he's working with his dad every day and he just needs some space of his own, and his place is 10 minutes away and he's walking distance from Tam's hospital. Luke asks if he's moving because of him, but Tiffany knows not everything is about Luke Fox. She hugs her brother, saying that she's going to miss him, but Jace knows she doesn't need to do that since he's only a text away. Jace gets into his car, knowing that he's telling his family he's moving out for some space, but really he needs to fill his nights. He feels his whole life has been built on deceptions, so what's a little more lies placed on his ever-growing pile of lies? In Allytown, the riot police confront the protest happening in the streets, wanting to de-escalate when a rock is thrown at them. One officer demands the men be deployed to disperse the group, taking to the people with their batons. Later on, Renee Montoya chews out the officer who ordered the riot police to deploy, saying the protesters had permits and a right to be there. The man says that he wasn't going to run from mask-wearing thugs, but Montoya says masks aren't a political statement to the people of Allytown, because since A-Day, they don't know what's in the air they are breathing. She knows that they are scared and looking to be heard, and after the crap he pulled, the next protest is going to be a dumpster fire. She says that people like the officer and the magistrate aren't helping, as the officer says that they have no right to be disrespected. Renee says the job isn't a popularity contest and people may hate the cops, but the cops don't hate people, wanting him to think about it while he's typing up his letter of resignation. Soon Detective Chubb comes to see her, wanting to talk to her about her partner Whitaker, appreciating Renee for letting things sit with him. Renee says that she isn't letting things sit with it, and if he lies again, he's out. Chubbs knows that he'll do the right thing even if he's a little soft on masks. Montoya knows that the detective isn't soft on them, and Chubbs tells her for lots of them, when men in masks show up, it's usually not bringing justice with them, at least not true legal justice, and justice is all she cares about. Montoya knows that they have that in common, and Chubbs wants to ask her a question, asking where she lands on masks and what she thinks of them. Montoya says that she lands where the law tells her to, but Chubbs doesn't mean the Commissioner Montoya, wanting to know what Montoya the person thinks. Renee stays quiet, getting Chubb to apologize since she didn't want to get personal. Renee says that sometimes anonymity allows you to be the person you really are, and it's like an online thread where you can hide your identity and be a troll. She knows she would rather fight 12 bad actors in masks than something that's only online or in their heads. Chubb says she's fighting both, and Renee thinks that's good, telling her that her and Whitaker will be the officers in charge of the next protest in Allytown. Lucius meanwhile tells Jace that he's got nothing to prove to him or anyone else in the company, and he doesn't have to be the ones turning off the lights in the building every night. Jace says that he's not trying to prove anything, he's trying to make up for lost time. He knows his dad has worked hard to give them all opportunities, but he wasted his, but he's not about to waste this one. Lucius thinks that he'll get tired of him saying it, but he cannot be more prouder of the man his son has become. Lucius leaves to do his work as Jace meets with Hadia, asking what she's doing there. The woman says that she's got her mother's company to work with Fox Tech to bring broadband to rural and undeserved communities, and she's the one spearheading it, being as she came up with it. Jace knows that sounds exactly like what the woman would do, who supposes that's the compliment, saying it's nice to see Tim smiling. Jace says he goes by Jace Fox now, and Hadia knows, since Vol told her. Jace knows that Vol sent her regards to him, and he should have called, but the woman says apologies aren't needed since he makes his own choices and lives with them. Jace wonders if maybe they could go get a coffee or something, but the woman says that she needs to get back to New York. As she leaves, she returns, saying that she isn't actually needed back in the office until Friday, so maybe if he has a minute, he can get Vol to find her for him. Later, Jace goes to his hideout, contacting Vol and grilling him about Hadia being in town. Vol says that they told him what she told him to do, and he needs to stop screwing it up with the woman. Jace understands, wondering if he's been able to crack into the armored batsuit yet. Vol says that he found a back door and he's close to unlocking it, asking what Jace is going to do with it. Jace says that people like his father and Bruce Wayne use the tech to make Batman their private soldier, and now the magistrate are using it to make a private army. So he needs to do this to all its tech for its own purpose, to make sure people who think they're above the law get what they deserve. Vol thinks that he's trying to work through his daddy issues, but Jace says he doesn't have any of those, and the privileged need to know that the things they think protect them can be turned on them. Vol turns Jace's attention to the 6 IDs Tyler Arcadine's courier was transporting, having pinged a cell phone of one of the radicals in Gotham, wondering why Tyler had their IDs if they were in Gotham. Jace gets dressed, wanting the location sent to him as Vol reminds him that they have him outnumbered. Jace tells him to keep hacking into the batsuit as he races out of the hideout on his bike. Jace tracks the phone to a Gotham shipyard, knowing it's abandoned, but whomever is operating there is doing it on the down low. He infiltrates the roof of the building, finding only 2 people inside, and they don't look particularly like radicals, but they are working with explosives. Jace attacks them, taking one of the men down before the other attacks him with a wrench, but Jace breaks his leg, knocking the man out. Inputting the tracked cell phone number into his own burner phone, he hears a ringing from a nearby office, going inside to find it filled with body bags of the 6 radicals. The 2 other men manage to wake up, with one saying that his leg is all busted up and his friend doesn't care, setting the bomb to explode in 30 seconds. The man with the broken leg says he can't be left there, warning Jace about the bomb. Jace grabs the man, racing from the building as it explodes, blowing them both into the water. Jace feels like he was punched by God as he sinks into the murky water, knowing Tatsu was right and he's got a lot to learn. Later, the man makes it to the shore, knowing that he survived, only to find the masked Jace was the one who pulled him from the water, and he needs to start talking. The man says that the bodies in the building were there when they got there, and they were told to just blow up the building tonight after something happens in Allytown, so it looked like an accidental explosion, and they were paid cash by someone who they never saw before. Jace knows he's not going too far with his leg like that, wanting him to wait there for the police, and he doesn't want Jace coming back looking for him. Jace races off, contacting Vol, who tells him about the dead radicals, and it was supposed to look like an accidental explosion, and it's tied to the demonstration happening in Allytown. He knows Tyler hires some professional hitmen, gets their IDs so they can fake like they are radicals, and they start some trouble in the protest, with angry people on one side and the cops who are anxious on the other, with only a spark needed to set them off. Vol wonders what Tyler gets out of this, so Jace says he'll ask him when he stops him, knowing to stop a war he'll need to bring a tank. At the protest, Chubbs asks if Whitaker is okay, but he knows people are getting antsy. Suddenly some people in the crowd begin firing on the police, so Chubbs orders her men not to shoot back. Smoke grenades are deployed from an alley nearby as the armored bat-suited Jace arrives, asking Vol what he's looking for. Vol says that he can track the weapons in the crowd with his HUD, so Jace targets the weapons, smashing them from the hitman's hands, as people think that Batman is attacking protesters and is with the police. The police don't know why Batman is attacking civilians, as Chubb wants the police to get some people out of the area as she intends to enforce the law with her group. More assassins fire on Batman as he easily breaks their guns, knowing this is too easy. As they fire on him, Vol says that his HUD should allow him to target them with non-lethal rounds. Jace fires off his tasers, catching the remaining men as a woman pleads with Batman not to kill her. Jace says he's not going to do that as Chubbs fires on him with her shotgun, damaging his armor, but she runs out of ammo as the people disperse. Jace thinks they got off to a bad start as he is hit by a missile from one of the magistrate bots that have arrived. The bots tell Chubb to stand down as Jace attacks the robots, but the rounds are too powerful for him, pushing him back down onto the ground. Jace calls Vol for help as he says says the suit is badly damaged, but he dials up the chaos mode. Jace has no idea what that is, but is told to cover his eyes and ears as the batsuit launches some canisters out of its back, which explode in a bright light, covering the area in smoke. The robots continue firing as they soon find that the batsuit is empty, and its pilot has left. The robots call for immediate reinforcements to hunt him down as Chubbs wants him found and hurt badly. Jace makes it to the alleyway nearby, knowing that he screwed up despite knowing he stopped the slaughter, but that's not how it's playing out on social media, with people saying that Batman attacked them and started a riot and he can't be trusted. He knows all he does is make a mess, as later he meets with Hadia, who wants to know his full story here. Jace says he can't tell the woman, so the woman says then she can't really help him then, knowing he's carried so much pain with him, and they both have, but while both have blood on their hands, his is stained with guilt and retribution, and coming clean will make amends. Jace knows she makes it look so easy with her mother's company, but Hadia knows that it's not easy at all, not as easy as changing his name. Jace asks how he gets over the past and represent a better tomorrow, and the woman doesn't know since she's more about asking questions than finding answers, but she knows real change begins when he stops being a boy who made a mistake and starts being a young man who wants to make a difference. Jace takes those words to heart, returning to his hideout as he knows he tried to appropriate a symbol of his father's power and privilege, and in turn created a monster, so he's going to inspire change, but he can't be a creature of myth and shadows. He needs to show people that he is real and there for them. He calls for Vol, telling his friend that he needs his help designing something new.